My respect to our supportive principal, Mr. Rodel C. Layson, to our registered guidance counselor, Mrs. Jacqueline Y. Coime, and to our dear students, a pleasant welcome to all. DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012. This is on Child Protection Policy. Let us start with the legal basis. The Philippine Constitution. The state shall protect the right of the children to assistance, including proper care and nutrition, and special protection from all forms of neglect, abuse, cruelty, exploitation, and other conditions prejudicial to their development. It also states that all educational institutions shall inculcate patriotism and nationalism, foster love of humanity, respect for human rights, teach the rights and duties of citizenship, strengthen ethical and spiritual values, develop moral character and personal discipline, encourage critical and creative thinking, broaden scientific and technological knowledge, and promote vocational efficiency. From the Family Code of the Philippines and PD 603, empower the school, its administrators and teachers, or the individual, entity, or institution engaged in child care to exercise the special parental authority and responsibility over the minor child while under their supervision, instruction, or custody. Authority and responsibility shall apply to all authorized activities, whether inside or outside the premises of the school, entity, or institution. For the coverage of the child protection policy, we have the children who are enrolled in the basic education system. From the school personnel, the school head, teaching or non-teaching personnel, the school visitor or the guest, from the media, suppliers or bidders, parents and guardians, and the like. Now for our objectives, this is to prevent child abuse, to prevent discrimination against children, prevent child exploitation, to prevent violence against children in school, to prevent corporal punishment, to prevent any analogous or similar acts, and to prevent bullying or peer abuse. What is child abuse? This refers to the maltreatment of a child, whether habitual or not, which includes any of the following: A. Psychological or physical abuse, neglect, cruelty, sexual abuse, and emotional maltreatment. Letter B. Any act by deeds of words which debases, degrades, or demeans the intrinsic worth and dignity of a child as a human being. Letter C. Unreasonable deprivation of the child's basic needs for survival, such as food and shelter. Or letter D. Failure to immediately give medical treatment to an injured child, resulting in serious impairment of his or her growth and development, or in the child's permanent incapacity or death. We have different forms of child abuse. First is the physical abuse. These are acts that inflict bodily or physical harm, like boxing, kicking, slapping, spanking, etc. What can you say on the picture? As you can see, there is, anong tawag doon? May pasa siya sa kanyang mukha. Umiiyak yung bata. Yung sa kabilang picture naman, yung maliit, no, may kamay. Ayaw niyang sinasaktan siya. Okay? So may act doon ng pag-slap. Another form is the sexual abuse. This includes letter A, rape, sexual harassment, acts of lasciviousness, like making demeaning and sexually suggestive remarks, physically attacking sexual parts, and letter B, forcing a child to watch obscene publication and shows. So, anong nakikita natin sa picture? May adults at saka yung bata or yung estudyante. So, may ginagawa sa kanya. Okay? Yung sa kabilang picture naman, no? Parang hinihila niya or pino-force niya yung bata, no? Na hawakan siya. So, these are on the form of sexual abuse na. We also have psychological abuse. These are causing mental and emotional suffering, which includes intimidation, harassment, stalking, damage to property, public ridicule, threat of deduction of grade, a form of punishment, and repeated verbal abuse. Discrimination regarding sex, creed, and race. So sa picture, makikita natin yung bata, andyan lang sa corner. So it may be, no, may nangyari sa kanya, sa kanyang paligid. And sabi dito, yung threat of deduction of grade is a form of punishment sa inyo as a student is hindi pwedeng gawin sa inyo. Okay? And the repeated verbal abuse, yung marami na talagang sinasabing masasakit sa inyo. That is under psychological abuse. Now let's discuss the discrimination against children. This refers to an act of exclusion, distinction, restriction, or preference which is based on any ground, such as yung meron kayong sineseparate, like the age, ay matanda siya, wag siya dito sa atin, doon na lang siya. Ethnicity, yung saan yung pinanggalingan niya, like sasabihin mo, ibang ano niya, ibang tribo, doon siya, wag natin siyang kukunin. Like a discrimination also sa sex, babae lang tayo lahat, wag tayo magpasali ng mga lalaki. Okay? And we also have this restriction of like sa property, and we have also sa birth and being infected or affected by human immunodeficiency virus and acquired immune deficiency syndromes like the AIDS, no? Hindi kailangan nating i-discriminate or layuan yung mga taong may ganyan. Okay? And we also have the common now sa ating pandemic, the coronavirus and the iba pang virus, diba? So, hindi naman natin silang lulubayan or pandidirian. Okay? So, they have this one. So, we need to respect them. Okay? Hindi naman kailangan aayawin mo na siya kasi may AIDS siya or may corona siya. So that is protection lang sa atin, no? Like sa ating corona, 'di ba? Sa coronavirus natin, sa COVID, 'di ba? May mga safety protocols tayo. So dapat sundin natin 'yon. Another is yung discrimination being pregnant. Okay? Being a child in conflict with the law and being a child with disability or other status or condition. So as a result on this discrimination, ang end lang naman dito is to respect one another. Now, ano namang itong child exploitation? This refers to the use of children for someone else's advantage, gratification, or profit, often resulting in an unjust, cruel, and harmful treatment of the child. These activities disrupt the child's normal physical or mental health, education, moral or social, emotional development. It covers situations of manipulation, misuse, abuse, victimization, oppression, or ill treatment. So anong nakikita natin sa right na picture, yung maliit? Sabi doon sa kanyang hawak-hawak, no child labor. So as young as you are students, hindi pa kayo kailangan magtrabaho. Okay? Meron tayong legal age na kailan kayo magtatrabaho. Okay? So, depende lang din sa inyong parents, but not to the extent na child exploitation na talaga yung term natin. Okay? Ano naman itong violence against children in school? Okay, so let's discuss this one kasi para sa inyo talaga ito kasi nandito kayo sa eskwelahan. This refers to a single act or a series of acts committed by school administrators, academic and non-academic personnel against a child which result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering, or other abuses including threats of such acts, battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. Ano rin itong tinatawag natin corporal punishment? This refers to a kind of punishment or penalty imposed for an alleged or actual offense, which is carried out or inflicted for the purpose of discipline, training, or control by a teacher, school administrator, an adult, or any other child who has been given or has assumed authority or responsibility for punishment or discipline. So let's discuss this following. Number 1, blows, such as, but not limited to, beating, kicking, hitting, slapping, or lashing of any part of a child's body, with or without the use of an instrument such as, but not limited to, a cane, broom, stick, whip, or belt. Number 2, striking of a child's face or head, such being declared as a no contact zone. Number 3, pulling hair, shaking, twisting joints, cutting or piercing skin, dragging, pushing, or throwing of a child. Number 4, forcing a child to perform physically painful or damaging acts such as, but not limited to, holding a weight or weights for an extended period and kneeling on stones, salt, pebbles, or other objects. Still under the corporal punishment, number 5, deprivation of a child's physical needs as a form of punishment. Number 6, deliberate exposure to fire, ice, water, smoke, sunlight, rain, pepper, alcohol, or forcing the child to swallow substances, dangerous chemicals, and other materials that can cause discomfort or threaten the child's health, safety, and the sense of security, such as, but not limited to, bleach or insecticides, excrement, or urine. Number 7, tying up a child. Number 8, confinement, imprisonment, or depriving the liberty of the child. To continue, number 9, verbal abuse or assaults, including intimidation or threat of bodily harm, swearing or cursing, ridiculing or denigrating the child. Number 10, forcing a child to wear a sign, to undress or disrobe, or to put on anything that will make a child look or feel foolish, which belittles or humiliates the child in front of others. Number 11, permanent confiscation of personal property of pupils or students or learners, except when such pieces of property pose a danger to the child or to others. And number 12, other analogous acts. Now let's have what is bullying or peer abuse. This refers to willful aggressive behavior that is directed towards a particular victim who may be outnumbered, younger, weak, with disability, less confident, or otherwise vulnerable. So let's describe what is bullying. Bullying is committed when a student commits an act or a sense of acts directly towards another student, or a series of single acts directed towards several students in a school setting or a place of learning, which results in physical and mental abuse, harassment, intimidation, or humiliation. Such acts may consist of any one or more of the following. Bullying does not only happen once, okay? Makukonsider natin na bullying na yung pag-abuso sa iyo is kung consistent na siya, no? Ang ginagawa niya, ang sinasabi niya okay, is consistent already. Hindi na isa lang. Parati na. Lagi-lagi na lang. So that is under bullying. So bullying may consist one or more of this following. Okay? Letter A. Threats to inflict a wrong upon the person, honor or property of the person, or on his or her family. Letter B. Stalking or constantly following or pursuing a person in his or her daily activities with unwanted and obsessive attention. Yung sumusunod-sunod-sunod sa'yo lagi. Hindi mo alam kung ano yung pakay niya sa'yo. Pero andyan siya, almost all kung saan ka nandun din siya. No? Pero parang hindi mo alam, na-distant lang kasi. So parang may nag-stalk sa'yo. Sabi nga, stalking. Okay. Letter C. Taking of property. Okay? So hindi lang isang kinuha sa'yo. Lahat-lahat na ata. Parang lapis mo, eraser mo, papel mo, bag mo. Okay, that is taking of property kung pag-usapan natin nasa school ka. Okay, letter D. Public humiliation or public and malicious imputation of a crime or of a vice or defect, whether real or imaginary, or any act, omission, condition, status, or circumstance tending to cause dishonor, discredit, or expose a person to contempt. So this is public humiliation. Yung maraming tao, then pinahiya ka, and then ano-ano pa yung sinasabi, yung malicious imputation, or inaakusahan ka ng hindi mo naman atang ginawa. Okay? To continue, another is letter E. Deliberate destruction or defacement of or damage to the child's property. Letter F. Physical violence committed upon a student, which may or may not result to harm or injury with or without the aid of a weapon. Such violence may be in the form of mauling, hitting, punching, kicking, throwing things at the student, pinching, spanking, or other similar acts. So ito yung kadalasan ginagawa natin mga students. So make sure aware lang din talaga yung anong ginagawa mo sa kaklase mo. Okay? Sabi kasi dito, physical violence committed by you. Kayo mga students. Okay? That may result to harm or injury. It may not result harm or injury, but these are like the form of mauling, hitting, punching, throwing things at the student. Hindi mo naman alam kung ano yung nangyari. Okay? To continue, letter G, demanding or requiring sexual or monetary favors, or exacting money or property from a pupil or student. Kadalasan kasi ang nakikita natin, yung sa sine or sa palabas, di ba? Yung inaatangan ka dyan sa may hagdanan, may mga goons, may mga gangs, hinihingan ka ng pera or hinihingan ka ng sexual favors. Aside from money, may sexual favors pa or yung property ng isang estudyante. Okay? So that is on letter G. Now moving on letter H, restraining the liberty and freedom of a pupil or student. Yung hindi ka na binibigyan ng karapatang gumalaw. Diba? May karapatan ka namang gumalaw. Pupunta ka ng canteen, punta ka sa ibang room, magkipagchika ka sa classmate mo, sa kaibigan mo, no? So you have the freedom. Okay, pag sa atin naman, during classes hours, walang maglaag-laag. So just stay sa inyong room lang. Okay? Kasi may klase pa tayo. Now let's discuss another peer abuse is the cyberbullying. So this is any conduct defined in the preceding paragraph as resulting in harassment, intimidation, or humiliation through electronic means or other technology, such as but not limited to texting, email, instant messaging, chatting, internet, social networking websites, or other platforms or formats. So ito yung cyberbullying natin na, di ba, naririnig natin na kinakasuhan ka ng cyberbullying because this is in the form of yung electronic means ang nagamit, no? Through texting, through email, in-email ka ng kung ano-ano ba, instant messaging sa ating Facebook Messenger. Yung sikat na ginagamit natin, yung FB natin na Messenger. Chatting, internet, sa social networking websites, ang dami na ngayon, no? Or other platforms or formats. Yun yung isa sa cyberbullying. Yung lumalabas dyan sa tinetext sa'yo, sa in-email sa'yo, kung ano yung mga hindi karapat-dapat na gawin. So, it's a form already of cyberbullying. Ayan students. So, I hope nakinig kayo at may nakuhang mga aral sa ating content sa ating child protection policy. Okay, so to sum up, ang na-discuss ko ay yung legal basis natin from the Constitution of the Philippines and from the Family Code. We also have the objectives, kung ano yung mga iba't ibang preventions to avoid this child abuse. Okay, we also have different forms of child abuse like physical, sexual, and psychological abuses, and we have different forms of child abuse like cyberbullying, bullying, or discriminations and the like. So I hope students, kung may mga tanong kayo, okay, andyan sa screen, no? May mga tanong kayo, nandyan sa screen. You can find me sa FB Messenger natin, sa YouTube, of course. I hope you can subscribe also para makita niyo yung mga updates, okay? Especially may tackle or may mga discussions about sa CPP natin, Child Protection Policy. And sa Instagram, meron din ako. And by hopefully, we can give you also flyers, okay? And meron tayong ilalagay na tarp as for you to be guided kung saan ang office ng ating Child Development Coordinator. Ako yon, okay? So students, don't hesitate kung ano yung nakarelate kayo sa mga examples na binigay ko at sa mga sumusunod pa kay Ma'am Jacqueline Coyne. Please don't hesitate or huwag kayong mahihiya. Pumunta sa akin, andun na ako sa school, no? Meron tayong office doon para sa child protection, and meron din si Ma'am Jacqueline Coyme sa ating guidance office. Okay? So I hope you will enjoy your day, and remember, okay, we do care for you, students. God bless.